Hi, welcome to Bar Cart Bookshelf, a video series about books and the drinks they inspire. My name is Elias, and today we're talking about Under Fortunate Stars by Ren Hutchings. Under Fortunate Stars is a time travel space opera where two ships separated by 150 years find themselves trapped in a rift of space-time energy. And as it happens, one of those ships is a historical relic for the second ship. It's from 150 years in the past and is the ship that was supposed to carry the Fortunate Five, the sort of heroes who ended this great space war between humans and this alien species, the Felon. And so now we have the problem of we're trapped here together. How do we get history to happen so that all of us exist and that this peace that is worth fighting for, that is worth preserving, continues to exist? So it's a really clever little time travel story. The characters are compelling. We've got space heists. We have telepathic aliens. I love a telepathic alien. We've seen that before with Eddie Robson's Drunk on All Your Strange New Words. Here we have a different take on that same sort of idea and the fundamental difficulty of translation and communication, the ways in which failures of communication drive hostility and conflict, and the ways in which the ability to communicate can begin and foster the process for peace. It is far from a perfect future, even 150 years beyond this peace. We see the ways in which corporatization continues to loom over our characters on the crew of the galleon, this sort of future ship, and the Jonah, the past ship, even though it's all sort of time, spacey, odd, and just a very fun book with a lot of heart, and one that I had a good time with. As I said, space heists and rogues and sort of reluctant heroes, people who are driven by their past and by their hope for the future. We see throughout the book the ways in which not only does the immediate past shape the narrative, but also the past at a greater distance, and the ways in which these characters are the sum totals of the lives they've lived before, and the ways in which that can build a better, hopefully brighter, and more peaceful future, with lots of fun time travel shenanigans. How do we make history work the way our history books tell us? What does it mean to confront someone who you only know in this really sort of distanced way, in the sense that the past is a foreign country and historical figures are people, in addition to being sort of symbols and performed roles and performed actions. So really a lot of fun with that. It is also available on paperback today, and so while I read my hardcover copy, you can all go out and find the book in an even easier to read format on shelves now. And so of course we had to celebrate with a drink. Our drink is The Rift, inspired by this sort of coming together of these two ships, the Galleon and the Jonah. And why don't we get started? So the primary spirit that the characters drink in the book, they do have cocktails, and we love a good space wine, or in this case space brandy. It's called Anyate. It's really not super described in terms of flavor, but we find out later in the book that it's grown in vineyards, and so for me, that's brandy and cognac. So we're going to start our rift with 1.5 ounces of cognac. Lovely aged brandy, not 150 years old, but certainly good enough for a cocktail. When you have a really prime cognac or an añejo, you really wouldn't want to mix that with other ingredients. Next, we'll get our modifiers. We're going to get 1/2 ounce of green chartreuse. It's a sort of bittersweet liqueur, lots of sort of herbal qualities to it, and I like the green chartreuse because it's got that slight mentholated cooling quality as well, which we'll see with our next ingredient. Wonderful. 1/2 ounce of that green chartreuse. 1/2 ounce of creme de menthe. We see at one point in the novel a regrettably spilled glass of mint liqueur, and we don't want spills here, so we're going to measure carefully and get our nice, cool, refreshing, crisp creme de menthe in there. I am using my homemade creme de menthe, but it is a really common spirit, really common liqueur. It's something that you should be able to find in your local liquor store. I would go for something a little on the higher end with creme de menthe just because a lot of the really cheap ones are going to taste like a dissolved wintergreen mint or something, and mostly like the color green, but certainly there are good commercial options available, and you can always make your own with mint simple syrup and a high-proof alcohol. Finally, to lighten things up, we're going to get 1/2 ounce of Fino sherry, this sort of sherry's aged in a Solera method where the past in sherry really does affect the future of the sherry. So we're going to get 1/2 ounce of that. It's also really nice for springtime here, just to lighten things up and keep our drink from getting too herbal and heavy. Then, just to give an extra little bit of that sort of bittersweet herbal quality, we're going to get 2 dropperfuls of the Rizzo bitters from Crude Bitters. These are grapefruit, rosemary, and peppercorn. And they're going to bring some of that like crisp pininess, the bittersweet peel of the grapefruit all together and balance our rift out. We certainly see that there is some bittersweetness in the novel, and this fear that you won't live up to the way that history has portrayed you, or do you even fit into the narrative of the future. So with all our ingredients in our mixing glass, we're going to get our ice in there, set that aside so you can see, and give it a stir. A nice solid stir for about 20 seconds or until our liquid and ice have a sort of an equilibrium. You can see we're getting there on that. Again, because we've got the creme de menthe, the cognac, the chartreuse, the sherry, everything in here is a spirit. We want to stir so that our texture remains nice and supple, and we want to give it a nice good stir because we don't want it to be too sharp or too harsh. Lovely. We'll get our julep strainer on there and strain into a stemmed cocktail glass. There we go. Beautiful. Set that aside. And there you have it. That is The Rift, inspired by Ren Hutchings' Under Fortunate Stars. Under Fortunate Stars is available now in hardcover and in paperback. I got a link to snag the book in the description below. Got links to the Boston Shaker, where we get all of our tools and ingredients, things like these Rizzo rosemary, grapefruit, peppercorn bitters, the bar spoon, the mixing glass, that sort of thing. We've got links to various forms of social media, including Twitter and Instagram, where there's a written version of today's recipe. Please try the drink. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Hit that like button. It makes me so happy. Subscribe if you haven't. Tell all your friends about what we do here. And tune in next week for a new book review and recipe. And until next time, cheers.